Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Back on the topic of Major League Baseball. Finally, I want to apologize really for not talking more baseball in the last couple weeks. There's been a lot of crazy endings to the season. Of course, the NL West, who's going to win it, Dodgers or Giants, and then of course the AL East, 4 teams with 90 wins. The Mariners and the Angels down to the wire against the Angels. The Blue Jays fell short. Red Sox and Yankees get in. So that's all what has happened the last couple weeks to lead us to tonight's matchup between the Red Sox and the Yankees. What better matchup could you want? The biggest rivalry, arguably, I guess, in baseball. This game should be great, so I'm going to be previewing it today. Before we get into the video, question of the day, a simple one, yet put some thought into it. Really give me your honest opinion of score predictions in the comments down below. What do you think the final score will be, and who is going to be moving on to go to Tampa Bay and play the Rays in the ALDS? One more thing before we get into this video, head on over to Thrive Fantasy. They're starting to upload some props for tonight's game. Right now we have Nathan Eovaldi and Aaron Judge, but there will be more props coming out before tonight's game. So head on over to thrivefantasy.com or Thrive Fantasy on the App Store. Use our code 2MW for them to match your initial deposit up to $100 and take your favorite picks on tonight's game. But let's get right back to the matchup. The history behind this speaks for itself. These teams have met 4 times before in the playoffs and brought some historical events. Of course, the ones that come to my mind was, I think, 2003, Aaron Boone, walk-off home run. Of course, Aaron Boone's now the manager of the Yankees. His walk-off home run to send the Yankees to the World Series. And then the following year, the Red Sox complete the first 3-0 comeback. They were down 3-0. They come back and beat the Yankees. So this matchup is obviously historical. So who is going to take it? I found myself wondering the other day of when it was announced, how did the Red Sox get to host this game? They head-to-head against the Yankees went 10-9 this year, so that is why this game is being played in Fenway. So yes, the season series has been very even. 10 wins for Boston, 9 for the Yankees. But the most important takeaway for me of those is that the Yankees have swept the last 2 series that these teams have played. So they've won the last 6 games and won 9 out of the last 12. So the Yankees got control of the Red Sox of this matchup leading up to the playoffs. So they seem to have the advantage right now. Again, they played 19 times this year, 10 wins for the Sox, 9 for the Yankees. But most of the Yankees' wins over Boston have come in the last 12 times that they've met. So Yankees own this right now. And as dumb as this sounds to say, this is a must-win game for the New York Yankees, of course. Quite literally, it's a must-win game for both teams if they want to win, if they want to move on. But the Yankees have to win this baseball game, or it's going to hit the fan in New York. Gerrit Cole's on the mound, a guy that they're paying $325 million to do nothing but this, to excel in these big playoff spots. If you look at last year and then the previous season with Houston, Gerrit Cole's only 1-3 in his last 4 win or go home situations. So as good as he is, and you can't deny that, he's had a great year. I think his ERA is he's had a 3.3 ERA, 250 strikeout season. So Gerrit Cole's had a good year. Not great, he's been better, but Gerrit Cole's a good pitcher nonetheless. But the money the Yankees are paying this guy is for this situation right now to come throw 7 shutout innings tonight, which is what I expect to see. Maybe not quite 7 shutouts. If I had a prediction for Gerrit Cole, I think he goes 7 innings, gives up a run, and puts the Yankees in a beautiful spot to win this game. So that is what we need to see. Of course, you Yankees fans, we need to see out of Gerrit Cole, because their lineup is going to take care of the rest. Now, we'll look here at Yankee starting lineups from previous games. Here on the left, October 5th, that's today. The lineups are not out yet, so I guess we'll just look at the previous games lineups to assume that they're going to be pretty similar. The Yankees have undergone some lineup changes. Gleyber Torres has moved to second base, Gio Urshela to shortstop, Rougned Odor to third base, DJ LeMahieu currently on the IL, not expected to play tonight, so that's going to be a factor. I like DJ a lot, but in all honesty, he hasn't had a great season, so I think the Yankees can do without him, but I definitely think that having DJ LeMahieu in this lineup would be an advantage because he's DJ. He comes up in big spots. I think he's only hitting he only had a 265 season and maybe 10 home runs. I think that's right. So he hasn't had a big year, but I think he would obviously be beneficial to having tonight's lineup. So that might be a factor. But the key to this Yankees lineup for me tonight is Giancarlo Stanton coming up big He absolutely tore the cover off the ball in the last series of the season against the Red Sox, where they swept. He hit a ball out of Fenway. He was hitting home runs left and right. And that is the Giancarlo Stanton that I need to see tonight to make sure the Yankees don't screw up and lose and go out first round with all the money that they're paying their talented lineup. I mean, just this season you had Rizzo and Joey Gallo. Anthony Rizzo, another guy that I'm expecting to come up big tonight just because I like the guy a lot. Like I said, Giancarlo Stanton, I have a reason to believe that he'll carry it over from his last time at Fenway and continue to smash the ball. But Anthony Rizzo, I just got a feeling about. I think he's going to come up big tonight. And then Aaron Judge, of course, he had the walk-off to clinch the Yankees' playoff spot, so I expect him to come up big. So my key tonight for the Yankees lineup is Giancarlo Stanton to stay hot, Aaron Judge to come up big for this team when they need it. Of course, in that 3 spot, he's in the key, the heart of that lineup. He needs to do something big for this Yankees team. But the number one key is Gerrit Cole. You got to be on point. We need 7 innings out of him. That's what he's being paid for. That's what he's capable of. 7 innings, 1 run out of Gerrit Cole. He does that. The Yankees win this game. Let's look at the Red Sox lineup and kind of talk about them. Again, lineups are not out yet, so we'll look at the last game they played against the Washington Nationals. The Red Sox are a team that I didn't expect to be anywhere near a playoff conversation last year. They were just playing bad. They were a bad team last year. So for them to be in this spot, they are the underdog. Their biggest advantage, of course, is being home at Fenway. Special things happen at Fenway Park. There's really no other way to put it. That's one of the most famous and oldest parks in baseball for a reason. So that's the biggest advantage. Of course, Nathan Eovaldi has had playoff experience. I do believe this is a game that both pitchers could be lights out and we could see a scoreless or a 1 or 2 run game into the 7th, 8th inning because these pitchers have obviously the potential to be on point. Comparing the 2 starters, Eovaldi versus Gerrit Cole, Gerrit Cole's definitely having the better year. He's got more strikeouts. He's got a lower ERA than Eovaldi. But Eovaldi is obviously who the Red Sox have to rock with tonight. So definitely don't underestimate what he can do. I do think that the last time the Yankees played, or the Yankees started against Eovaldi, I think they put up 6 or 7 runs in a couple innings, 3 innings, I think. So last time didn't go well. I'm sure they've had time to review. The Red Sox have had time to review what went wrong in that start, and they got faith in Eovaldi, and so do I to keep this game close. So looking at their lineup, Kiki Hernandez leading off, of course, acquired from LA last year, had a big season. I know mid-season he was absolutely tearing the cover off the ball. Kind of mellowed out. I think he's having like a 265 season. So Kike, I like a lot. Schwarber, of course, bounced around this year from Chicago last year to Washington earlier this year, then to Boston. He's had a couple home runs. Xander Bogaerts, one of the better shortstops, one of the best hitting shortstops in the league. And then in the 4th spot, my favorite guy on this Boston lineup, and I think the key to tonight is Rafael Devers, young guy playing third base, but the dude knows how to hit any pitch from any velocity. I mean, that's the key for tonight is Rafael Devers coming up with a big hit. Whether it's a home run, whether it's a 2-out single that scores a run, he is my key tonight to come over to overcome this Yankees staff. That I think Rafael Devers is going to come up big. If the Red Sox want to win this game, I think it's going to be him to do it. But then right behind him, JD Martinez, a guy that can do the same thing. Verdugo, Hunter Renfroe, the list goes on. This lineup is good, but they are definitely the underdogs. I was looking at some odds earlier. The Yankees are favored. I think that should be pretty obvious, but there's no doubt that baseball can go either way. So those are the matchups for tonight. Again, to recap, this is a game that the Yankees need to win for New York, for their organization, for Gerrit Cole, who they're paying all this money, or vice versa. Gerrit Cole needs to win this game for the Yankees. But my point is, the Yankees should win this game. But if they don't, it's gonna be bad for the whole organization, for Aaron Boone, for the city of New York. So I think there's a lot more riding on this game for the Yankees. Obviously, they are favored. They should win. So that's really all for the video. Remember to head over to Thrive Fantasy to take your prop picks if you're interested, and use our code 2MW. And as far as the question of the day, my score prediction, I'm going to go 5-3 Yankees win. I think Gerrit Cole goes 7 innings, gives up 1 run, and the Yankees are able to put up 3 or 4 early off of Eovaldi, and then 1 or 2 more off of the Boston bullpen. Once Gerrit Cole comes out of the game, Boston's going to get a few runs, make it close, but I'm thinking 5-3 or 5-4 final in the Yankees' favor. Guys, thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.